BYB Bare Knuckle returns home to South Florida for another monster card on December 6th. For BYB 34, Brawl in the Pines 4. BYB heavyweight champion Gustavo Trujillo looks to make it 7-0 when he faces off against the reigning BKB heavyweight champion Richie Leak in a BYB Police Gazette Diamond Belt unification match. Cub Hawkins defends his BYB Cruiserweight Police Gazette belt when he faces off against number one contender Zion Tomlinson. Jamie Driver and Sonia Dreiling look to finally settle the score, while local stars Robert Durant Jr., Jean-Pierre Ramirez, Jared Grant looks to shine, and the monster Unieski Gonzalez makes his bare knuckle debut. Visit BYBExtreme.com for tickets and information.
Welcome to the Original Fighter's Voice. I'm your host, Don Mcguire. This is a special night for me because our special guest, Mr. Kelly Pavlik, the Ghost, is tremendous. He has changed my life in so many ways, and we have a tremendous brother that is in between us, Mr. Johnny Steele, and I just love him to death. And, you know, Kelly, if we both love Johnny, then we got to be a little thrown off ourselves, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I guess so, right? but I guess in a good way.
Yeah, I love the man to death. You know, I apologize to everybody that we're a little late. You know, Kelly also has his own promotion, his own gym. He also teaches fighters. So, you know, in this sport, you have to go on the schedule of our guests sometimes. And I was willing to wait for the one and only.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. It's just, you know, these last past year with the charitable, or all this is really, believe it or not, it's a part of the charitable organization. Even my for-profit gym, which is a weightlifting gym, I do strength conditioning with kids 4th through 12th grade, and you know, it's just nonstop all day. But there's a lot of times I have to push back things, and then I fall behind. And today was a big day for sparring because we got fights next weekend, and it's my show that I'm putting on. It's a fundraiser for the charity, and you know how that goes. We just got to make sure they're ready, and we can't miss, because if we miss sparring today, who knows if we would have got any, you know, next week.
Well, first and foremost, champ, you really don't have to even give me any kind of, you know, answer, because I was supposed to do the show with you yesterday, and I ended up getting a migraine and being sick because I've had my cervical spine operated on, and those aren't always the greatest headaches in the world, and those days are harsh. But you're here now, and it's a tremendous thing. You know, when I talked to you the other day, you know, we had a nice conversation, and I kind of want to start things out on this because I love boxing. Boxing is it's my true love next to Muay Thai, you know. And what I saw happen this last weekend, in a way, was kind of a travesty to me, you know. And I know a lot of people are saying a lot of things and this and that, but I just want to get your thoughts, and then I'll give my thoughts. My perspective is along with yours, but I thought this Saturday night, the women's fight, Serrano-Taylor, was probably one of the greatest women's fights, other than their first fight. It was one of the greatest fights that I've ever seen in the sport. Champ, why are people in this industry so quick to say CompuBox tells a fight, or, you know, they're behind that fighter, so, oh my God, she got robbed? You know, first and foremost, it was a beautiful fight. It was a tremendous fight. Instead of degrading it, we could have had one of the greatest fights in women's history going out on the books. But what are your thoughts, my brother?
You're 100% right. Look, I think a lot of it, to be honest, and I say this all the time, and I think when I explain to people what I mean by it, they have a better understanding. I think social media has killed sports, okay? Think about what I say here. I don't think you'll ever see another mega fight. I don't think you'll ever see another superstar athlete. And I'll you know, use an example. Let's just say the LeBron James, Michael Jordan, okay? 23 years ago, LeBron James came in the league and everybody was like, this is the next Michael Jordan. Oh, he's better than Michael Jordan. The man went off and just started tearing it up. Not winning championships, team sport, but just, you can see he's 3 inches taller. 15 to 20 pounds heavier than Michael Jordan, could jump every bit as high, run faster, dribble better, shoot better, better field goal percentage, 3-point percentage, better field goal percentage. Every which way around the statistical chart, aside from steals, he led, and everybody was on riding his coattail, and everybody loved him. The minute he started closing in on Michael Jordan scoring, okay, and passing him, was when all the hate started coming, and then that's when everybody came out because they didn't want to see it. And that's just one example. Go to Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather, a mega fight. But it wasn't a mega fight. The numbers, yes, one of the highest all-time pay-per-view selling fights. But by the time people got done spewing their opinions and their points on social media, it was not a mega fight. Spence, Crawford, not even close to being a mega fight. Okay, it was supposed to be the best fight in how long in the last 2 decades, and it never became anything because of once the fight was over and everybody had their chance to, run their mouth on social media and downplay it. It was no good. The heavyweight fights, Usyk, Fury, Joshua. There's no great heavyweight fights, and people bitch, but there's never going to be another great heavyweight fight because the people are given a platform to feel relevant, and it's going to be run down. And that even goes back. Think about this. And I might get shit for this, and I don't care, but it's the truth. If people actually take off the blinders and take out the earplugs and listen to what I'm saying on this one, think about if social media was around in 1991 when Mike Tyson got knocked out by Buster Douglas. And truthfully, would Mike Tyson be who he is today if Facebook and Instagram and X or Twitter was around? You know what everybody would be saying? Oh, he got knocked out by an overrated, a guy that beat nobody. And I told you Mike Tyson was overrated and he was washed. He fought bums coming up. As soon as he stepped up against a decent guy who was bigger than him, he got knocked out. We know that. And that is a fact. That's what would have happened. And Mike Tyson, he would not have the legacy today or have that reputation because of that. And, so going back to the Serrano fight was a fantastic fight. Unbelievable. I've seen worse robberies. If nobody bitched and moaned about Manny Pacquiao, Timothy Bradley, and one of the worst decisions of all time, how are you going to sit there and complain about the fight that was so competitive, and different styles? You could tell this was the new crowd that came over from Jake Paul's side, and these were people that were watching a fight that didn't know what they were watching. Katie Taylor, she threw 5 to 6 punches, on returning punches or countering Serrano. Some of the punches, Serrano were landing the harder punches. So it comes down to how do you judge the fight? Ring generalship, to be honest, I was going with Taylor. Overall, who did I have winning the fight? I thought Serrano won, close fight. I'd give her maybe a round. But it was a fight where I was actually looking for the draw. So that way, maybe we get to see another one of those again. It was a fantastic fight. The female boxers and the female community should be so excited about a fight like that and embrace it. That was just a phenomenal fight. And instead, everything turned into who could make their best point on Facebook, or in the boxing groups after the fight.
That is so true. And, it's like, I watch these people because I do this show. I also write, about, fighters and different things. And I write articles and I tell everybody, like Burt Watson, who was on my show yesterday, he said, if you don't want to complain, then don't let it go to the judges. Especially if you're walking into a fight of that magnitude and your competitor, you go in there and you don't let it go to the judges, because if it goes to the judges, Texas is crooked anyway, so I don't really give a crap. They can get mad at me all they want. But, I understand there's, unintentional headbutts. Well, most people don't even think to look back and see that one was orthodox and one was a southpaw. First of all, you're going to have headbutts that way. Second of all, both fighters lead with their head anyway. So when you got two fighters that are ready and eager to throw, lead with their heads, one orthodox and one southpaw, you're going to have that situation. But like I told everybody says, well, Serrano this, Serrano that. I said, you know what? Too late. Went to the judges' scorecards. Even with the point taken away, Katie Taylor still won. So what's there to bitch about? Everybody wants to complain. And I think you're so spot on about social media, because social media just ruins a lot of things.
It's great. Don't get me wrong. It's great for the original reason why it was set up. For people who contact, and it has its benefits. And then it's the other part. I mean, people live two different lives on social media. You got people that blow themselves up to be all this and to be this person, to be that person, and then they live another lifestyle when they're off the internet and they're off social media, and that's the bad part about it. People just get on there and they spew whatever it thinks will bring them more attention, and it does. It hurts, and even with that fight, like that was a fight. Why can't people just talk about? There was people. Don't get me wrong. There was people, saying it was a great fight and one of the best that they've seen. But then a lot of them had to end it with, but it was the biggest robbery, and this is why sports suck or boxing's horrible, and that wasn't the case in this fight.
No, it truly wasn't. Kelly, you've never met a buddy of mine. He works with me in the bare knuckle promotion. Matter of fact, I know you've seen the intro. Is there a chance the Ghost would like to step up into something like that?
And what, bare knuckle?
Yeah.
The fight?
Yeah.
No, I can't.
I think you'd beat half the squad anyway, bro.
I think so too, but you know what? It just sounds better when I say I think I could and I'll kick their ass, but I don't have to really go and show that I would do it. Just sit back here, keep whatever, skin that's in place that's not scarred up already the way it is. I'm getting 42 and all these scars are starting to droop and everything, so it's not good. I don't need any more.
I got 20 years on him, bro. What are you talking about 42? He's only 4 years older than my son. But you're still a bad man, champ. Steve Rothman, he runs the Fighting News, an organization that's 10 times bigger than mine. He also does apparel and everything along that line. But when I'm down in life and I can't really function to the 100, I bring him on to help me, get through the shows, especially after what happened yesterday. But first and foremost, Steve, why don't you introduce yourself, sir?
How you doing?
Doing good.
Kelly, good. You had that statistic down to a point against LeBron James and Michael Jordan, except one more. Michael Jordan got that many rings. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
he got 6 with Pippen, but what does he got without Pippen?
Listen, everyone loves Scottie Pippen. I mean, for sure.
The thing on that, but not to interrupt, and I get it. But you see, there was an argument. Montel Griffin, good friend on Facebook, former champ who fought Roy Jones and all the guys, James Toney. Montel, he agrees, and like we say, we go, but you're talking about a team sport too. So first of all, to say because somebody won more rings, or like is Tom Brady really, like, do I think Tom Brady overall was really a better quarterback than Peyton Manning? No, I don't. I think he had the teams. He had Bill Belichick. You got to remember, Michael Jordan's teams were stacked for that in that era. They were great teams. Yes, LeBron had a stacked team with Miami, but also it was very common in the NBA league. He also played against other stacked teams. It's not his fault that when you're playing with 5 other guys, I mean, if you go, he had more rebounds. Now, you got to understand this too. More rebounds, he always had more going in. It was close, but he had more rebounds. He always led in 3 points. He's always led an assist. Always an assist from the beginning. And it took him 1,300 less field goal attempts to pass Michael Jordan than what Michael Jordan took to get to that point. 1,300 less. And now, after all the years and far more many shots, he still has a higher field goal percentage, which goes to show you just how much better his accuracy.
Boy. You're a real LeBron James fan. I understand.
I'm not, and that's the funny part.
I got it.
Steven, actually that's even the funnier part. I'm really not. I have personal reasons. You know, me and LeBron didn't see eye to eye, but I just call Bluebird blue. You know what I mean? Like, honestly, if we really go by, you're talking about a guy that's, again, 6'9". The whole league is different. Athletes, unfortunately, people don't want to realize this. Athletes they evolve. They're faster. They're stronger. For the most part, they're bigger. I mean, we could just go by the NBA. Or not the NBA, the NFL. I mean, you got guys in the NBA today. The old heads always like, well, you know, defense wasn't as tough, and they couldn't forearm check. Look, if they played man to man back then, today they could crowd the lane, they could triple team you, and if you don't think that Giannis could sit there and toss one of them guys into the fourth row, they're just, it's proven. Track, the numbers faster, they jump higher, everything. The numbers have shown over and over and over. Athletes have evolved and advanced.
So you're a coach, Kelly. You're a coach, and you're picking a team. Your number one for your dream team. Your number one pick on that team is what? You pick players retired, not retired, still playing. Who's your number one pick?
That's a tough one. I'm probably going with. I'm going to start off with Embiid. And I can't say that last name correctly though. Embiid. How's that? What's the last name, Levi? Embiid. I'm going to go with him. Okay. Now here's a guy you're talking 6'11", 7 foot, 280 pounds, and moves better than any center in the history of from 60s, 70s, and 80s and 90s. And all your guys, all your power forwards, Giannis, 6'11", 285. And, let me go back to that. Your centers that are 7 foot, 7'2", are now averaging triple doubles and hitting 30-foot three-pointers. It's just a different game. I grew up on Michael Jordan, Dominic Wilkins slam dunk contest, and I used to have the posters in my room. And to be honest with you, them guys, those dunks don't get out of the first round in today's slam dunk contest.
I have to, you know.
Who's the second pick?
I may have to go with a Steph. I mean, Curry is the guy. It's just he's hard to cover. He's experienced. He can hit 30-plus footers. I mean, how do you guard someone like that? The ball handles, and I would say Magic, but Magic Johnson, I don't even think could barely dribble the balls between his legs. He was big, slow, just a big body point guard at that time and could pass. But all these guys today could do that. They could all do the fancy passes. And I think Curry would be too quick, too fast, and could shoot too well from too deep. So you would have to have a strong point guard like that is a big one.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Power forward, or strong forward, shooting guard, I would probably have to go with LeBron James. Not now, but 10 years ago. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I like the point that you brought up about Pippen because, I actually just watched this documentary like about 7 or 8 days ago where they were talking about Pippen's first year. Jordan really didn't accomplish that much. It wasn't only until the second, after Pippen had his first season and gone into the second and third season that Jordan actually started performing, with Pippen as a team. It just correlated and they found their funk. I know it's a boxing show and we're here talking about all sports, but hey, boxing, basketball, they're both combative. Because I'm not taking one of them elbows. Well, I knew Bill Cartwright. I knew when he played for the Knicks, he used to go out with my oldest sister. And then he played for Chicago and became the coach. And so, I know Bill Cartwright real well. But, I do want to get into a little bit of boxing tonight, Kelly, because, not too much, just a little bit to just to kind of fill some thoughts in my head, your win over Edison Miranda in 2007 was a breakthrough moment for you. Can you take us through that fight and what it meant for your career, my brother?
Yeah, that was a huge fight. Nobody was giving me a chance in hell in that fight. Both undefeated knockout artists. Edison Miranda came off. He beat Alan Green. At the time, was a big contender. I think champion. He fought. The only draw or loss he had was, I think it was a draw to Arthur Abraham in Germany, and we all know you almost got to put them in a body bag to get a decision over there. And I hate to say that way. Um, yeah, so when I fought Edison Moran, I mean they weren't giving me a chance, no matter what my record was, or the big fight was Artucci. Everything was Miranda was the boogeyman of boxing at the time, and I think that's one of the big fights that obviously put me out there and put me in the number one mandatory. But I think the way that I went in and beat Edison Miranda is the biggest thing too, to take from that, because first of all, again, nobody thought that I would make it past the third or fourth round, and then to not only do that, but go in there and dismantle him over a period of 7 rounds was, I guess, impressive to a lot of people.
You know, Kelly, you've been on my show a multitude of times, and I know there's good parts of the sport and there's bad parts of the sport. I just want to know, how did you deal with the pressure and the expectations that came with being a world champion, my brother?
It's tough. They always tell you, like, oh, this is going to change, that's going to change. Then as a 25-year-old kid, you're like, oh, I know. Yeah, no, I already know. This is smart ass and naive, but and hard-headed. It's tough. You do have a lot of pressure. You're getting pulled in every different direction. People want you for charitable events, which is great. I love doing the charitable events, and I like doing them under the radar where I didn't have the media attention. But like, go see this sick person, see this. Those ones were hard. And then, hey, you got to go here for this appearance, and you still have a young family at that time, and everything's under the microscope. I mean, everything you do. I could tell you this. It's kind of funny. I was shop at, even after the Miranda fight, I was shop at Walmart because I just liked it. We go in there. I always wear gym clothes, even to this day, gym clothes. And I never forget the day after I won the day after I won the world title, I was walking into Walmart, not thinking about, like, oh, you're a world champion, right? But they already put my purse in a paper and everything, and people were looking at me like, "What are you doing here?" And I'm going, "Well, just 4 days ago I was here, and it wasn't a big deal, right? Like, what the hell is the difference?" It used to be like darts. I played in a dart league, and you could actually go watch it on the countdown to Jermaine Taylor and Kelly Pavlik. You can still find that on YouTube, right? So I'm not lying here. You hear the guys going, everyone at the bar, like, oh, he's just one of us. He comes in, he plays darts. He don't act like he's better than anybody. And then the minute I win the world title, it's like, oh, he's a drunk and he's in the bar playing darts. He shouldn't be doing that. And, so it's a lot. And I'm not saying that, people were 100% wrong for that. I think when you get to that point, unfortunately, your life does change a little bit, even though you're not asking for it to. But yeah, there's just a lot that comes along with it. And I think some kids that are getting ready to break into that, I think there needs to be more consultants, in the sport. People there, to kind of really show these kids, you could, like I said, I was one of them. My dad, thank God for my dad. Honestly, he prepared me even before I won the title financially, get myself set up and doing the right things. And I ran into a little bump in the road at 21 years old, and thank God it was only for a couple $1,000s, and I was able to get out. And once that happened, it was like, oh shit. We ended up getting, a financial team put in place and all that. So there's a lot that comes in. There's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of tugging and pulling. And listen, people are brutal. It's just horrible. It's horrible to some of the people that are out there, especially when they know that you could be a world champion.
Yeah, see, I'm one of them people, and I'm gonna let you ask him a couple questions here in a second, Steve. But I've been in this industry. December 12th will be 41 years, and a lot of times I don't know how you champions do it, because from commissioners to promoters to whoever, they create a lane and they want to tear down people, and they don't even know the person's story, but yet they run. And like you said earlier about with social media is a very destructive tool when it's not used properly. And I found myself way back many years ago when I had you on the first time, and I'm not ashamed, I'm not going to say any names, but me and you, we talked about this. People make accusations, people say things, doesn't mean they're true. And like I told you the other night when we talked, what you did from 2000 to 2012 should be commended, and nobody should open up their damn mouth about an individual unless you personally know that individual,
Yeah.
which is this individual don't know you. And so it really pissed me off that much more, because they were spewing it to a bunch of people on their show. And it's like, you're not the first person that this person has done this to. And see, I like my show to be the fighter's voice, because you can come on here and say whatever the hell you want. And I could see that you've done quite well. You have your own promotion, you have your own gym, you give back to the community tenfold. So how hard is it to, like I said, become a champion and then have to deal with all the bullshit that comes with it?
Yeah, I mean, it's society, I guess, right? I don't know how else to word this, and I don't, and if I word it the way I want to, it makes me look like I'm saying I'm better, or that certain people are better than other people. That's not where I'm going with it, and
No.
what I'm trying to say. But the more successful you are, the more other people kind of bring you down, and they couldn't accomplish half the shit, because it's just not only winning a world title or getting drafted by the San Francisco 49ers or by the Cleveland Cavs, or making the farm team for Montreal Expos and climbing up into the major leagues. It's getting paid, millions, or having $1 million in your pocket. It's also what the 99.9% of these athletes do that is under the radar for the community, for charitable organizations, and all these different things that they do. And now I would say roughly 98% of these professional athletes come from poverty, and nobody was there for them when they were coming up until they may have started to get to the end of their high school years, and then everybody wants to hop on, and that's when, because they know they're getting ready to go to a D1 college, or they have a good chance of making it to the NBA or becoming a world champion. And these fighters do that, and they generate millions of dollars in communities in their local city when they bring their fights back home. And it's just more than becoming a world champion. There's a lot of other things that they do, and for somebody that sits back home on their ass doing nothing, or go to work their 8 hours a day and not even taking 10% of their weekly paycheck and putting it towards a charity or towards a rescue mission for food or anything like that, or accomplish or contribute to society. And these are the people that talk shit, right? These are the same people, whether if the guy goes out and drinks, these are the same people that go out with barely enough money in their wallet to get by through the week, but they make sure they have enough to go and spend their weekend at a bar, right? Hey, when I went, I could have stuck the nozzle up my butt and stood there butt naked and drank, right? I have it like that. I hate to say it, I do, right? I mean, if anyone belongs to them, I'm not drinking my kids' money away. I'm not, or my electric bill, or taking from anybody, or bumming money off of people, or mooching or leeching off anyone. I did my thing, right? And I'm retired. Um, and I'm not saying that's right, but for most of these athletes, that's what it is, and everybody holds on to it. Do I get that? Hey, listen, they're held to a different standard and people look up to them. Yes, I get that. Okay. And I'm not defending athletes that go out and do something that's horrible, an entertainer that goes and gets themselves in trouble where it's a horrible offense. But at the same time, if they get pulled over for a DUI, if they get in trouble, or if they got in a fight, who knows what could have caused the fight, or if they got in some type of trouble, like, and everybody's the first ones to hop on and go, well, they got millions of dollars, they should not be in that situation, and blah 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 blah. They're humans. These people came up harder than anybody, right? Or they say they should give back. Well, how about everyone? If everyone gave back, right? Take a 5% of your salary and donate it to charity. This world would be a much better place, right? But obviously nobody's doing that. So I mean, we could just go down this rabbit hole on that. And again, like I said, I'm not trying to say that. I know it comes off kind of arrogant, but it's the truth. Like, the better you do, the more it gives people more reason to talk shit about you. I never understood that, right? I mean, could you imagine if I walked into McDonald's and was like, dude, you ain't flipping that burger fast enough. Like, this guy, he must have been out. He's a drunk. He must have been drinking last night. You can only get 4 burgers done in 10 minutes. Or if somebody went and was heckling a construction worker that was up on your roof. Same thing as them heckling athletes. What's the difference, but it's crazy. But you have to be able to expect that. And going back, that kind of goes back where I said, I think some of these athletes and fighters need consultants and people there to help them through that, consult them through it and help, teach them what's going to happen and be there, by them, because no matter how much people tell you, once it hits, it's a totally different story.
Yeah, it really is. I'm going to get these out of here, and then I'm going to let Steve ask you a few questions. My brother Paul Driscoll from Canada says, hello, Don Kelly. Champion, how are you doing? Or how are you guys doing? We're doing great, bro. And then my adopted grandfather, Mr. Artie Lamparella, says, hello, everyone. And the king of slap, Mr. Ryan Phillips, says, oh, snap, Kelly is a legend.
That's awesome. Probably that slap box is no joke. I actually got a buddy. I powerlifted with Jonathan Davis, who's in that slap box and knocking everybody out. Doing good.
Tim Sylvia. Tim Sylvia's doing that crap too. And Kelly, I think it's like I told you, I don't get fanboy, but I'm a fan of the Ghost, because I've never seen anybody do what you did in 12 years. It's just incredible. And to see you have all your faculties. That's another thing in this industry, and I'll toss it to you next, Steve. I was getting ready to have Yaki Lopez on, and the same gentleman that talked crap about Yaki Lopez. Well, let's say so, because I'm one of the
show. Who was the guy that was talking the shit?
Randy Commish Gordon.
Oh, that piece of crap! How the hell did he even get involved? Who did he?
Well, he saw you guys were coming on my show, and then he made derogative, comments. And the thing of it is, when I was going to have Yaki Lopez on, he was like, "Does he even have his faculties?" And I'm like, "Bro, you don't even know Yaki." I said, first of all, Yaki was born with a stutter. We had to teach him to bite his cheek, so he sounded a little bit funny. And I said, he sounds better today than you do, bro. Yeah. So I said, before you go knock somebody, so I let him come on and do a show with me and Yaki, and I don't get people like that in this industry, man. You get a little badge, you get a little bit of power. And I'm not saying all the commissioners are bad, because I love a lot of commissioners. But this guy is just,
he started talking shit. He started talking shit about me and my buddy Dominguez when we had the Punchline. And that was a show with no money put into it. We went and covered fights, though. Mega fights and big fights, and they were already starting to talk a little bit of shit. And I think Sirius has some interest in the show, and he started then. What do you call that when somebody's insecurity? I guess maybe.
Yeah, short dick complex. I guess I don't know, man. All I know is.
Well, he's only 4'8", anyways.
That's true. I tried to help the man out, but. I like helping everybody, Kelly, and it's like, for people to degrade people, it just pisses me off, because I've been in this industry. I'm one of the last golden era photographers alive, and, it's like, when you talk about hate in this industry, hate comes in more ways than being a champion. You know, because I'm the lowest man on the totem pole, just like Steve here. We're both photographers, but yet I'm a 10-time Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, I'm hated. I was hated on my whole career. And then when I started taking the inductions, then I got hated even more. But then once you get to the top of the industry and you start surpassing them, then the whole world shits on you. So, you know, it's like you got to take it with a grain of salt, like you said, because you know what? These people, they're inadequate. They can't come and do what we did in the sport. I gave 75% of what I made in the sport back to the sport because I like seeing people succeed. I like finding kids that can't be seen. I like getting kids from gyms in the middle of nowhere that have talent and get them to where they need to be.
Well,
that's
yeah, no, you do. I'm sorry to interrupt. I didn't mean. Sorry.
You're
about
good,
that.
champ.
What did he? Not to harp on it with him, but it does get frustrating. Was he
He
just?
just said you left the sport, bro.
Or like what does he do? What is radio?
Yeah, he does. He does serious, and then actually he's live on his page right now on Randy Commish board. But he basically said, "Oh, you know, he left the sport as drunk and broke." And I said, "Bro, really? Because you don't know Kelly. If that's what you think, you're not broke, bro. Don't even say what you know. I already know."
And I never had to fight. I never had to throw a punch again. I've put together the podcast that I funded completely from scratch into having 2 different gyms at 5,000 square feet and never have to work but see, it goes to shit talking. And here's a guy right there that probably made his living off of other people's accomplishments and failures. Think about that. And I like a lot of journalists and a lot of people out there, and I hope nobody gets too offended by this, but again, I'm just telling the truth. There is a person that literally makes his living and his life is based off of somebody else's. He writes about what somebody else does or talks about what somebody else does, whether it's an accomplishment or not, or their failures. And nothing has he done on his own. Has he gone out and produced or made or done it by himself? He just sits there and runs his mouth. And hey, look, I'll dig a little deep on him. You know, you don't want to do that. There's stuff. Everybody's got some shit. We could always bring it out, but
everybody got skeletons in their closet. But I love it because I deal with the real. You know, I'm not the man in front of the crowd with a mic. I'm the dude in the back taking pictures with you, chilling with you, becoming family with you. You know, everybody got to realize there's 3 types of people that do what I do. The people that got to stand outside the building, the people that hold a microphone, and then people like me that get to go back in the dressing rooms and talk with you guys and take pictures with you in the back. You know, that's the real part of the sport. But you know what? I've had my homie on here for a minute, and I got kind of carried away.
On that too. What bothers me about it is the guy always kissing my ass when he sees me. Always nice. Hey, how you doing? Blah 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 blah. And then you act like that. That's horrible. I never said a bad thing about the guy. Never, really, to be honest with you, never met. Jerry Cooney was the whole part of that show that I was involved with. Like I love Jerry and
I love Jerry
because he literally accomplished it and made his name by literally getting in the ring and fighting. But I was always nice with them guys, and I never thought that he was a shit talker like that. That's kind of it goes to show you what type of person is a false, two-faced type person. That's
Well, I remember when I was going to have Pinklin. I was going to have Pinklin Thomas on my show that night, and Pinklin was watching his show for some reason. And then, we came over to do my show, and he was calling Pinklin a drug addict and this and that. And I'm like, what the? So I don't watch his show no more. It's like you call yourself part of the sport, but you want to degrade the sport. And if it's any goodwill towards you, he just got let go from Ring 8, and Ring Magazine was bought by the Middle East, and he doesn't have a job there either. So, you know what? Turn around is fair play. Steve, hit the ghost up with some questions, brother.
So we spoke with Levi before. We wanted to mention his name. Talk to me about what you do now in your in your daily life with your gyms and your promotions. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, and Levi's still he's here now, and
What's up, Levi?
Levi said,
Bring
"What's
him
up?"
on camera.
I
Bring
think
him on camera.
I think he passed out. He's actually, I think, sleeping in the tire that he flips. Um, yeah, but so right now, I have the Kelly Pavlik charitable organization, and it's a project that I took on probably going on 5 years now. But it's really the last year and a half, like really taken off. And it started off. I had the fitness gym and doing very well with that. Had about 300, small town, about 350 members though. Really took off, and then I started doing strength and conditioning. And as I was doing the strength and conditioning, it was a low income area, and the kids were coming in, and I would get siblings, and I would tell the parents like, all right, well, if the kid's going to come with him, I'll just charge, $50 extra for the month, instead of charging you double. And I see a lot of times like the mother go, we can't we can't afford that. So they didn't fall in the underprivileged part, but they just did a little too well to fall in the underprivileged, and I felt bad charging. And so I started a charitable program to be able to bring these kids in and train them for free. And I, fronted all the money. I paid to have for the attorneys to get it drawn up, the equipment, the strength and conditioning equipment, and got, have the kids come for free. So the parents now don't have to worry about spending any money at all for the kids. And then from there, I was like, I'm just going to do all different sports, strength and conditioning, and then I'm going to do boxing. I'm going to do boxing at one location though, because for boxing it's a little different. You have to be there all the time, and you can't have 3 or 4 different gyms. So I went through all that. I was talking with the lobbyists and local politicians and grant writers, and ended up going in. They were like, "Yeah, get the boxing gym." So I got a boxing gym, and I'll give you guys a little, like, it's really nice big ring. Went with the fancy lights and everything in here. Big
I
gym,
like.
5,000 square feet, and started getting that ready, and don't charge any of the kids at all. It's
That's
free.
beautiful.
I got 45 to 50 kids, in here. It's like just really cool. Now I'm also traveling with them, so I'm preparing kids. I got to train the football players different than the boxers. I got to train the boxers different than the baseball. I got track. I'm real big in strength conditioning, especially like just the advancement. Again, going back with sports, this day and age, you got to really work on speed with these kids and explosive movement. So big on fast twitch training and then also explosive strength training. And then for the boxing and wrestlers, it's a lot of muscle endurance. So I got to train type 2, type 1 at the same time. Even though your top trainers out there like, you should never train type 2 and type 1 in the same day. Guess what? Boxing kind of have to. So not all the time, but, maybe about 3 days out of the week I will. And it's really fun. It's stressful but fun. And then in between all of that, you're still financial advisor. You're going with him, working on things. You're working with local politicians to get funding. You're working on getting donations. You're taking kids to spar in different cities that's an hour away, and all while trying to still with my own family, make the time and be there for them. So, but it's a project that I'm up to my waist in, and I don't ever quit or back out at this point. I think everything is really starting to roll, and I picked up 2 juvenile probation court systems, so kids that are troubled. I got another wrestling group. I'm working with some of the kids from a school now. I teamed up with some of the kids that are in bad situations. So yeah, really moving along and coming along pretty nice.
Is your family involved in with the gyms with you?
Yeah, so my wife, she really wanted to work, and she ended up, going to work. She wanted to get out of the house, and she gets off at 4 o'clock and literally comes, to the gym to kind of put the young kids, like the 10-year-olds and 11, because they're all over. No matter how much you try, they're kids, right? And you don't want to let a kid and make it miserable for them to come. So she kind of just comes in and will keep them busy and puts them on, foot agility drills and different things like that. So my son, he's in school now, sophomore. My daughter's in college, but she was helping. Actually, last year she would cover some of my classes when I had to be at another one, and she would train the kids. And yeah, so they're all involved too, to a certain extent. And my son comes in and gets a chance to work out also for he plays football and basketball. So we keep him moving and keeping him working out pretty good, while making sure he gets enough rest. So yeah, I mean, it's really fun. It is, but it's also just I'm wearing thin too. It's I'm kind of hoping here that I get some relief where I can be able to put more people in different places and have a little bit of peace of mind that the funding is going to keep coming. So
Nice.
I think it's great what you're doing, bro. Ryan Phillips says, I'm from Lorain, Ohio.
Oh, okay. Not far. It's only about maybe an hour 10 away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And here's one of our fighters for BYB, Tommy Turner. He says, "Good show, brother. What's up, Stephen and Kelly? I fought Kelly's buddy Roger Romo back in the day and fought on a card in Vegas with him when he beat up Sigmund. Terrence Crawford was on that card too. God bless you, fellas."
Oh, yeah. Yep. Roger Romo. I think I might have seen that fight. Roger was a good friend of mine. Yeah, he's brothers with Fernando Vargas. Roger is actually training, a lot of fighters right now. He's even worked with TJ Dillashaw, some of the Eastern guys that Egas has. And then I keep forgetting the kid's name. I want to say Blake or whatever. He just fought Adrian Broner.
Yeah, I can't think of his name. I know you're talking about.
That guy.
Yeah, he's funny as hell. Roger
Blair
Romo trains him now, and
the Flair.
yeah, he's funny, dude. That was a funny press conference, but yeah, and then Scott Sigmund, that was a fun fight, and I actually became pretty good friends with Scott Sigmund now too. So
Yeah. I love Tommy Turner to death. But you know what's, champ? I don't know if it's because you slapped the hell out of everybody in the ring, but Mr. Reese Archer, who's also from the UFC Power Slap, joining us this evening, and Celebrity Boxing. What is it about the Celebrity Power Slap guys that like Kelly Pavlik, bro?
I don't know. They've been trying to get me in there.
I think
There
you
was
might
another
do
guy,
quite
man,
well.
nice guy, but he was trying to get me to fight too. Is Damon Feldman.
Oh yeah, Celebrity Boxing, man. You don't want to work for that guy, bro. I'll tell you right off the gate. His brother owns BKFC, and Steve works for him, so I'm not really going to go too dwell into that part of it. But kind of like the commish kind of thing. Chris Shaggy Gonzalez says, "Hey Don, can't wait for BYB Extreme Fighting Series to come back to Pembroke Pines December 6th. I'm not going to be there, buddy. I'm going to be at my Hall of Fame in Dallas, Texas. But go do your thing, dog. Go do your thing."
Don, and Kelly, I got a question. So, how much money would you have to get to stand there to get slapped in the face?
Listen.
Like that slap contest.
Oh, listen, you're going to have to pay me. You're going to have to pay me but an unrealistic amount that they're going to say, get the hell out of here. I mean, bare minimum $4 million to smack me across. Like, that's what I'm saying. I'm not hurting for money, so $4 million to smack me across the face. But here's the thing, and I don't want to scare, but listen. Since I started going to these Hall of Fames, I was inducted in Atlantic City, and
we're actually in one Hall of Fame together.
Oh, yeah, we are. That's pretty cool too. So yeah, and then I go to the international. They invite me out, and when you see these fighters, and they're not old, they're in their early 60s. They're still a shitload of life left, but they're pretty bad. And I actually it's funny. The guy had mentioned, I forget that shorty's name. I wish I would have retired 2 years earlier. I really do. When I go to these, so where I'm going with that is when I watch these bare knuckle, or not bare knuckle, these slap things, and these guys are
Yeah.
just getting knocked out. They're getting rocked 2 times. Okay, I think there's three smacks you get. So they're getting wobbled, dazed, brain damage, and then some of them are getting knocked out cold. And if they have 8 matches, almost 7 to 8 matches, their brains are getting rattled. Far worse than probably most boxers. Boxing's brutal, but you may go a couple fights without really taking those type of blows or even getting your legs weak, right? Or getting
Yeah.
buckled, let alone going in there and getting knocked out cold 3 to 4 times. I think you're going to see a lot. I think you're going to see a hold on that sport here in the next couple years because you're going to see a very fast decline in the cognition of these
Yeah.
participants, and they're going to probably end up putting a ban on it because the brain is not made to take that. It really ain't. And them guys are like they're giving you their chin to smack and knock them out or buckle them, and kind of dangerous to me. It really is.
Well, when you look at Ryan Phillips and you look at Reese Archer, those are two gentlemen that have came from a world of combat sports. 90% of the people going into power slap don't have that combative ability. The thing that concerned me about power slap when it first came out was the reticular hemorrhaging. A lot of people don't understand, because that's how my mother died. My mother fell and hit her head on a toilet and had reticular hemorrhaging. And I can guarantee you Ryan Phillips would slap the hell out of me a lot more harder than me hitting my head on the toilet. That's for damn sure.
Oh, that's yeah.
Ryan will probably knock my damn eyeballs out my head. That's how big he is. But the thing of it is people don't really understand it. And, it's like the new things. It's a circus. The circus comes to town. It's a fad. Do I think it's totally that way? Well, I kind of know Dana White really good. And he's sticking a lot of money into this. So I'm with you though. I'd like to see what's going to happen 10, 12, 15 years down the road, bro.
Yeah.
But Ryan did answer us back. He says, for me, I watched Kelly dominate back in the days and his skill was unmatched. I appreciate him and what he does for the community. I appreciate his opinion on power slap and do not disagree. He agrees with you, brother.
And I'm just not saying that, I'm not just saying this because he's on here and I'm very appreciative.
No, he agrees with you.
Yeah, but these guys, they're trained. There's a tech, just like with anything that somebody does, right? There's a technique. These guys are slapping harder than most people punch, than most boxers punch. Okay. And there's nothing to block it. It's just it's tough, and like I said, we worry about boxing, right? Boxing compared to MMA is far more dangerous than MMA. Now you tell the average person that don't know combat sports, they're going to be like, what? You're crazy. MMA is more brutal. Don't get me wrong, right? You got elbows, knees, all that stuff. But as soon as you get dropped and your brain gets rattled in MMA, they stop the fight. And rightfully so, because you could get literally murdered if they don't. And it's done. Or you may have a lot of the fight may be on the ground positioning for an armbar or a leg lock or a choke out. As we're in boxing, the only thing you could do is hit somebody from their waist up to their head for 36 minutes. Okay, and you could go out in that first round and get your brain rattled maybe twice and still have to go fight for another 33 minutes, 32 minutes, getting punched in the head while your brain's rattled and probably getting rocked or knocked out again a couple more times. The trauma to the brain is far worse in boxing, and that's why you see many more deaths and long-term injuries. MMA, yeah, I think overall is more brutal. I watched that and them guys get kicked, and I said I would probably shoot that dude if he kicked me that hard. I wouldn't want to get hit with one of them elbows that they throw. But yeah, so every sport's a little different, and the slap boxing, it's a technique, it's an art, but it's just brutal, and I worry about anybody. You don't want to see somebody getting hit, and
No.
literally in a sport like that where they may end up with head trauma and and CTE literally 2 years into the sport.
Who hit you harder, Sergio Martinez or Bernard Hopkins?
Oh, Bernard. Sergio
Yeah,
could fight,
Bernard.
and everybody said Sergio was a hard puncher. I think he was just very slick. And I was up in that fight going into the 9th round, and he didn't really do anything different. I think I hit a wall in that fight, but yeah, Hopkins was stronger, but I also fought Hopkins at light heavyweight. Is where I fought Sergio, but the hardest hitter by far was Edison Miranda. That dude. People tell you like he hits hard, and you go, "Oh yeah, I know." And you think I already had well over 100 fights between amateurs and pros going into it, but you still never know till you get in there. And he hit me in the shoulder, the first punch he threw, and it wasn't even hard, and it was like, I went, "Shit, this is going to be a long ass night." Just one of them type guys with that power, but. Yeah, Jermaine was pretty heavy-handed. Not a knockout guy, but fast with heavy hands. Bernard, I want to say Bernard hit hard. Again, it was a different fight. My first fight up at 75. And then Sergio, I can see how Sergio knocked people out. Me, I obviously had a pretty good chin. I wasn't knocked out in any of my fights.
Never.
But I think Sergio was just a really slick fighter.
See, a lot of people don't. This is why I say I love the years of Kelly Pavlik, because just listen to the fighters we're talking about, and then you got to throw Andre Ward in there. Even though Andre Ward taught you a lesson, you still fought the greatest people.
Well, I didn't fight. I was supposed to fight Andre Ward. I didn't fight him.
I thought you did.
I mean Hopkins.
Well, I know you fought Hopkins, but I thought you fought Ward too.
No, I lost this. I only had 2 losses. I was 40-2, and I lost to Sergio Martinez and Hopkins. I was supposed to fight, and that was the icing on the cake for me to retire. Was when Andre Ward hurt his shoulder, and then there was the Super 6 was still going on. There was like no real meaningful fight out there, and to be honest with you, I was done. Didn't want to do it no more.
Yeah. Like I said, sometimes when you research, not everything's right, but I could have swore that was I could have swore you fought that fighter. I don't know but Kelly, how would you like to be remembered when you do leave this sport? Because you've created such an iconic trail for yourself and path for yourself. And I'm still going to stand by you fought some of the very best fighters that the sport could give you.
Yeah.
So, how would you like to be remembered in this sport, my brother?
I mean, I had some pretty good accolades too. There are ones that are not put out there, but I had a stat guy. I forget who was doing the interview. The guy from that has title.
Oh, okay. I know you're talking about.
He owns title, but the guy with him on the show, his co-host, was a stat guy, like a professional, and he told me that I had the highest knockout ratio going into a lineal middleweight championship. Now, I know like who the hell really keeps that stat, or thinks about it. But hey, guess what? If I was number 1, I'm keeping it. So, but I was the 3rd highest in middleweight championship history with the knockout percentage. And I think I was up there pretty high in punches per round. With that all being said, listen, it would be great, obviously, to ever get inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame. But I'm content with my career. 3-time world champion. I held 2 of the major sanctioning titles. I had the biggest belt, the ring lineal champion. That's huge, and not many people are in the world of boxing because walk away and say they have that. And I lost only 2 fights out of all of them to 2 Hall of Famers. I just want people to say, like, dude, we got excited when Kelly was fighting. When Kelly came on the tube, we were zoned in. We were watching that fight. We were hyped. That they enjoyed watching. That's all you could ask for. You know what I mean? Like, again, I made Atlantic City Hall of Fame is a pretty big Hall of Fame. There's some. I was inducted in there with Trinidad, Roy Jones, and Reddick Bowe. and Vinny Paz and a big list of guys. That's cool. If I ever got into the National Boxing Hall of Fame, that would be cool. But if not, again, you won't be able to take away. No, they'll play these fights. The Jermaine Taylor fight, they're going to play that fight forever because it was such a big fight. But at least I hope they will. And that's all you could ask for, just that people enjoyed watching the fights.
Yeah, I know you don't really care about that fight, bro. I mean, you do, and but I want to ask you a question because do you feel that if anybody other than Smoger was reffing the fight, do you think they would have let it go the distance or continue like it did with Smoger? Do you think if there was another referee in there, do you think they would have stopped it, or do you think they would have allowed it to continue?
Yeah, I think they would have allowed it to continue. And here's the reason. I was grabbing. I was holding on. I was locking up. I was going up under his arm. And when we were locked up and clenching, I was hitting him. And it was actually pretty hard punches to the side of the body, to his head. Then I lost my balance again, went across the ring. And as soon as I turned around, I underhooked him and brought him into me. That's showing a referee that you're aware and that you're able to protect yourself because of that. And then, that I'm also punching him while we're on the clinch. That's a big difference, in the fight and showing that the fighter's still with them. I think referees know that your legs are going to be gone, but if you're able to show that you're not just taking punishment with your hands down or just sitting against the ropes, letting them unload on you, then, that's a different story. But Jermaine never at no point, besides the original knockdown, unloaded barrage of punches on me. He threw, after I went to one time, he threw 3 punches total. They were right back to back to back, but I clenched and grabbed underneath. And I think that's a big part. And Smoger stated that in the dressing room, and it played through the head. He's like, as long as you're able to show me you're able to hold on and that your whereabouts are there, he goes, I won't stop the fight. And that's all I kept thinking was like, just clench. Let me get through this round. I get through this round, I'm going to win. I'm going to win this fight, And I knew it. I knew it from the beginning, from the first round on. That's another part that's frustrating is a lot of people were like, oh, Kelly don't knock him out in the rematch, then he's not going to win. I won that first round easily. If people really go back and watch the fight, won the first round easily. The beginning of that second round, I was tagging him. And I got overconfident. He hit me with that punch that hurt me, and I stuck my tongue out like a dumbass. And that's when he ended up, dropping me. And then the third round, I came back, threw 100 punches, over 100 punches. I think it was 103 to be exact. Fourth round beat him. I gave him the 5th round, and then I won the 6th and knocked him out in the 7th. So it was four rounds to 2. Plus, he had the knockdown, so I could see the fight being a draw going into the 7th round. But I won 4 rounds, so I don't see where people were saying in a rematch like, oh, Kelly got to knock him out to win. And I think that fight was every bit as good as the first one because guess what? I outpointed him in a 12-round decision. So, and my first time ever going 12 rounds.
I know we talked about it, and I know we really don't like to talk about it, but I got to know, bro, before I pass away, I just got to know, when you were in the corner and you were loading up on combinations on Taylor and you dropped him, was there a great sense of relief? What was going through the heart of Kelly Pavlik at that moment?
Oh, there's so much. You really can't grasp.
Yeah.
I don't know. It could be different for every other champion or fighter that's been in that spot. It was just you're just so. I mean, if I could jump a little bit higher, I might have been able to touch the blue lights at the Boardwalk Hall inside that arena. Yeah, it's just everything. You talk about like everything going 1,000 miles an hour, and just that's all it was. And I knew he wasn't good. I knew after I landed that hook, he was out cold. He was out cold, and he raised his hand, and I just ran, and they were like, I could hear people screaming, the belts. But what's funny about that is overall, you really don't realize, at least I didn't, until I think I retired. the truly what you just accomplished on that night in 2007. You don't. Like, yeah, everyone calls you champ, and you look at your belts, and it's like, yeah, blah blah blah, I'm the champ. But when you retire and all the circus is over, I like to call it, and the craziness, um, and you have time to reflect and really let it sink in. That's when it's like, holy shit! Like, those are my belts. I did this. This happened, and you really appreciate it, even more because you have the time to actually let it sink in. So, and I may be the only one. A lot of people be like, no, I know I'm the champ, but like the sentimental part of it, the real part, like getting down to the bottom of it is, yeah, you're a champion when you win it and when you're in the middle of it, but to really realize like what you accomplished is, I think that takes a little time with maturity and when everything slows down.
Where are your belts? They at home or are they in the gym?
No, I do not ever keep them at home. I've seen too much shit with that, right? I got a young family. Them belts ain't even mine anyways. So those are my kids. And then hopefully by the time they reach my grandkids, hopefully my grandkids care enough, but I'll be gone by the time my grandkids are old, yeah, all my stuff, I tell people that all the time. This stuff ain't for me no more. That's my kids and what they want to do with it, and for them to cherish it. They obviously care and they love being involved with the, stuff, but they never were too big into the like, oh, daddy's the world champ either. My son, the older he gets, he's kind of starting to, but yeah. So I put all that away, and it's not at my house. I got my father's still alive, and like I said, I got everything. I got them in cases. I got my trunks, that I don't keep on me because it's an invitation for shit.
Oh.
So and again, they're not mine either, but they're put away. They're put away for, when I'm not here or when my kids are ready to have their own place, it's theirs.
Yeah.
See, I don't. I got 10 rings. I don't keep them at home either, bro. Because it's just no, I don't. I keep 2 of them at home, and if you want to steal them, I'll fucking give them to you. Because I can get them right back. But I'm like you, bro. I have almost 41 years in the sporting industry, and I used to have a full closet back here. Oh, what are we getting to see?
Oh, sorry. No, I'm charging my phone so it don't die on you guys.
Oh. But, I had a 15 by 20, 25 foot closet full. Now I have to get a storage unit, and I'm not going to tell anybody where that's at. But,
yeah.
Let me get on here.
That's like another thing too. You got to remember also why. I'm sorry, guys. I got to do this for a minute. Also, I'm not going to lie. Obviously, like when I won the world title, it was, I've in between training camps, I'd have people over to watch the fights, pay-per-view fights, and friends and people just in and out of the house, and because I couldn't imagine having, especially some of the characters, who I thought were friends, if I would have had those, 3 to 4 title belts sitting there in a case, believe me, they would have been scoping that out and getting in that house. So. I for that part I kept them, and then after like when everything slowed down, and I was just like, why would I still even bring them or give anybody the idea that comes over? If I have somebody come over and fix the washer and dryer or the furnace, and they see it, you never know. And again, I still have my family and my kids are in my house, so I wouldn't put them at risk either.
Well, look at Patrick Mahomes and Kelsey. They believe it's either family members or teammates that robbed their houses. So, we're going to be figuring that out here pretty soon. But
it was Taylor Swift.
What's that? It was Kelly Pavlik. Oh, yeah. Oh, no.
I was just glad they finally lost the game.
Yeah.
My brother Brian Halderson out of Drayton, Canada says hello. And then Justin Sims says, Kelly, a.k.a. Jay Taylor, height, train derailer. and he says he's a big fan.
What's
And
up,
Justin Sims says, Don, aka the OG, and Steve, aka the heartthrob of South Florida fighting. And then Ryan Phillips says, great cast, Don. You know, it's always fun to have the ghost on, bro, because I just love him. You know, Kelly, I know what you're talking about, not the hype and all this, because me and you have talked about it. And I apologize to you for putting that video out, what, about 4 years ago of the fight and tagging you in it. But the reason I did, because you really are a real life Rocky. You really, truly are a man defined. And I don't look at very many people. People think that because I'm around all of you guys that I appreciate all of you guys. I don't. You know, I'm there to make money and put food on my table, just like Kelly Pavlik is. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean I like you. I might appreciate what you do in the ring or in the trigon or on the mat, but I absolutely love this man's career. The reason I do is because 12 years, you show me anybody else that can accomplish what he did in 12 years, and I'll shut the hell up. You know, and I'm not a fanboy. I don't get whatever. I just respect real athletes. So, Kelly, when I put it that way, who was the mentor? Because we know you had a great rivalry with Jermaine Taylor, but who was the person that put Kelly Pavlik on the right track? Who was the person that whispered those words of true intent to get you through all these battles? Because you're one hell of a world champion.
I wouldn't say it was one person, to be honest with you. You know, I'm weird like that, Don. I mean, I was, aside from the Dominique Wilkins and Michael Jordan slam dunk when I was a kid. I never was a guy that had like my favorite fighter on the you know. I never took the Ring magazine picture off and put it on my wall, and I never really had anyone that I admired or followed. But where you're going with that is, I would say my mom and my dad to be on the right track, and I can honestly say that. And these were two people that didn't want me boxing at all, and they were a big part of that. I would say, obviously, in the pros, Cameron Duncan, who was my manager, you know, rest in peace, Cameron. And there was a lot of people in the boxing world that didn't take to Cameron, and there was a lot of people that did. I think what he did as far as an agent for me was phenomenal, and he put me in the right place with certain people that advising me and you know, kind of teaching me the ropes. And I think when you have a team like that, when you could have a good supporting cast, as Michael Jordan did with Scottie Pippen and everyone else, it's just one of those things, you know what I mean? Like I think those guys were. I think my dad and my mom was a huge part. My family, I think, I truly believe, like Cameron Duncan, you know, Jack. I was with Jack Lowe, you know, from the beginning. He obviously played a part, but I think it was that. I really do. There was no one person that I ever like really singled out, or I could say that was the reason that really helped me. You know, a lot of it was my determination. You know, I didn't like training with people. I would go run my ass off, and you know, I didn't want nobody with me, because if they were able to keep up with me, then I didn't feel like I was ahead enough, right? You know, I'm not ahead of my opponent right now because this guy's able to stay with me. So I would train 7-8 hours a day, you know, to make sure I was ready for the fights. And yeah, there was a lot that was added into it and put into it that came along with it. It's just really hard to say one person, but if I had to say the top people, I would say my mom, my dad, and then obviously, you know, another person throughout my career who was a big help, and everyone needs that. I think it's one of the biggest things that's underlooked is your significant other. You know, my wife was with me from pretty much the beginning of my career. I was only 10 fights into my career, and those 10 fights happened because they were like a month after, you know, one after another. And she was there, and she was supportive, which always helped. You know, even when I had my daughter, a year and a half before a year before my title fight. You know, it was go ahead, go train, do what you got to do. I'm fine. I'm going, well, you sure? Even when she was pregnant, you sure? You know, I'm fine. Go ahead. And that's a big part, you know. And she didn't care about the fame. She was happier when I retired than anybody in the world. You know, she almost jumped through the roof. She cried in happiness that I retired. And to this day, when I say I want to go fight Jake Paul, she, no, you're not. You're done. I'm going, ooh, but what if it's like 20 million? No, no, you're not. You're done. You know,
What if it's exhibition?
yeah, right. It's staged. It's staged. He's not going to really hit me.
Scripted.
Yeah.
You know, I saw something about that today, and it had me dying. It showed everybody that he fought. All of them were like 50 and 60 years old and retired. And the only person that beat him was a novice and Tommy Fury.
Yeah.
The only real fighter he faced, he lost to. You know, and you know what? I would like to go back before last weekend because I don't want to see Mike Tyson's ass again on television. That just wasn't a very
Yeah.
that wasn't a very good moment for me. But you know, Kelly,
too. He did. That was planned. He was. I could see him smirking right when the camera came on him.
He went viral. The ass cheeks went viral.
Yep.
He was giving Bernard some cheek.
Yeah. The ashy ass cheeks too. You think he would have put some lotion, some Diddy oil on those before he
Oh my God, Jeff! I can't believe you said that. Oh, I love it.
The guys here in the gym, they always talk about it. My boy Levi over there always talk about that, making jokes. Diddy oil. He goes, yeah,
he probably got something in the tire that he flips.
Yeah, right. Oh yeah, but I was trying to get you on here sleeping. Come over real quick. Hey guys, I'm gonna put them on real quick.
Yeah, come on, Levi. This is a family show.
Yeah. So, Levi, say what's up.
Where I'm looking at.
What's up, Levi?
They need it on the side.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's
What's
Levi.
up, Pete?
So he's fighting next weekend on the 30th.
Hey, man. So, what are your expectations going into your fight, brother?
Put on the show, man. Put my skills to the test. And best man come out. I think that's what's the word? That's the media trained answer, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And what's the answer you give your coach, brother?
Beat his ass.
Mm-hmm.
Right on. That's what you got.
I train hard. He does. So I can't, he's in here. He works out. He's a gym rat. He hangs out. He loves being in the gym. Trains hard. So you can't ask for more out of one of your fighters than that.
You know, young man, you know what I honestly do? Because I ran Jackson Wink MMA for a year, and I've also been in boxing for 41 years. What I do to my fighters that really want to become a world champion, and they go to a different gym or come to where we're training them at, I always tell them, they said, "Where's a hotel?" I said, you're not staying in a hotel. And they look at me kind of crazy. I say, "You're living, eating, breathing in the gym. You will be in that gym for the next 3 weeks, and you're not going to leave the gym." And, but that's where Kelly came from. That's where I came from, the school of hard knocks. That's the best way to learn because you engulf it and you don't have any distractions. But, young man, you got one of the greatest coaches in the world. And I would utilize and take every bit of wisdom he gives you because there's not another boxer in this industry, with the exception with maybe 5, that can say and talk the talk and walk the walk that that champion right there has. You're a very lucky man, to be quite honest with you.
Yes, sir.
Where's the fight at? Tell us about where the fight is.
Yeah, it's an amateur show card. It's in right outside Youngstown. It's probably about right from my gym here, probably a 15-minute drive. It's November 30th. I screwed up and put it on the same day as the Ohio State Michigan game, and but that's because I booked it last year. But I think the tickets are going good for it, and we're going to have a lot of people out, at this fight, so it's going to be pretty cool.
This is your promotion?
Yes, yeah. I'm putting this on. It's going to be my 4th show.
Nice.
So,
hey, Levi, how does? What was that, Steve?
How do you like doing that, Kelly? The promotion of it.
I listen with everything going on. I wish I didn't have to do it right now, when everything slows down, I would like to, but it's a fundraiser to kind of help to keep everything for these guys moving, to keep the gym over. Like I said, I fund all of it, and can I keep funding it? Yeah, but it gets hard, man. So I put these on, that's the only way right now to get some funding in. And plus they train their asses off, and sometimes it's hard to get them on fight shows that other trainers are putting on. So you want to reward your fighters when they're in there for weeks at a time, sparring, fighting, running, making weight. They're doing it for a reason. They don't want to just stay in a gym all the time and keep sparring. So you put these shows on too to showcase what they've been doing to the fans.
Hey, Levi,
Yes,
Ryan Phillips wants to know, where's the fight at? Why don't you hype this fight up, bro? Let everybody know where it's at.
Yeah, he wants to know. The one guy on the show, a fan wants to know where the fight's at.
It's Boardman, right?
No, Austin.
Well,
Yeah.
It's close to here. It's like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
We put on the show, man. You don't see Kelly in the ring, and he ain't doing nothing but passing it down. So it's gonna be quote unquote something Kelly's going on out there, entertainment wise. It's gonna be different styles for sure, but we're gonna put on the show. I gotta throw some names out there for sure. Levi Williams, of course. Darius Harshaw, Isaac Johnson, Juan Haregi, and Jose. Remember those names.
Yep.
Those are gonna be some names. That
Juan and Jose are twin brothers.
Okay.
Twin brothers that fight 6 weight classes apart.
That's great. Well, I'm going to have Levi on the show. After your fight, have Kelly hit me up and we'll get you on the show, brother. I love sharing the young amateurs of the sport and young and up-and-comers because without you, we're nobody.
Yes, sir.
It'd be an honor, man. I love what Kelly's doing. And Kelly, I'm even going to go out on a limb. I work with the Sugar Shane Wilson Foundation, getting their events and helping them and doing crowdfunding. I'd like to do that for you. We'll talk about that off the show. No charge. I just want to help Kelly Pavlik get things where you need to be and get the right people orchestrated in the right areas.
No, I appreciate that. I do.
Well, we all have to help each other, man. You know what? If we truly love this sport like we say we do, then we should get up off our ass and make sure that it's here 20, 30 years from now. One thing I will say about Mike Vasquez, even though it's bare knuckle boxing, he said, I'm not building something shiny to sell it. I'm building a glass house because I want everybody to see what I'm doing. I want them to see that I'm building it right. And I want it to be here 50 to 60 years from now for not just the fighters, but for my family as well. He said, I'm not building nothing to sell. And I think that's exactly what you're doing, Kelly. And man, I respect you for what you're doing because you're giving young men like this an opportunity to see that society doesn't always look down on you and society always will believe in you and push you up. This world is a twisted, fucked up place, but what you're doing with these young fighters is tremendous, brother.
Yep, and like you said, yeah, they help me, I help them, and it's a small community, you know what I mean? And we got to have each other's back and hope for the best for each other, and that's all you could do. And my biggest thing overall too is with all my fighters, including Levi, you build a relationship. It's a friendship, and with him, he's 20, going to be 21, but I'm almost old enough to be his father, not quite, but yeah, and and that's how I look at him. I took him in under my Darius, the other kids fighting Jose, and when you get to that point, it's also just like you want to see them succeed. You want to see them become successful, not only in boxing but outside of the ring too. And it's true. But the biggest thing is too, it's a big responsibility, and my biggest thing is their safety.
Yeah.
Prepare them to go out there with them and lessen the chance of them getting hurt or something happening. You know what I mean? You can't baby a boxer. You can't, put them in there, but you can prepare them as best as you can to make sure that when they go out there, they're ready and that they're not going to get hurt.
Most definitely. And he's got the greatest coach in the world, brother. Steve, you want to wrap things up? Because I didn't realize I've had Kelly on here for an hour and a half.
Yeah. Just thank you so much. It was nice meeting you. Levi, we wish you the best of luck in your career. And, listen to this guy, Kelly, down here. because he can teach you the world. You have his knowledge, and just listen to what he says, and you'll go far, my friend.
He's learning a little bit. He's starting to listen. He's
Yeah.
still a little hard around the edges, but
it's the best thing for sure though, because everything he's telling us is simply from experience. So
Yeah.
no better than that.
And from the heart, bro. If this man's giving you the knowledge for free, you better absorb it like a sponge, son.
Yes, sir.
I can't wait to see his fight. Kelly, I'll get with you tomorrow and we'll talk about, the other aspects of it. But then I also want to get with you and figure out when we can start bringing your fighters onto the program.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And I'll try to have the videos, of my guys for you and Levi. You can watch it after his fight. So.
Yeah, Levi, also follow The Fighting News.
Yeah.
On all the platforms.
The Fighting News.
Yeah.
Fighting News on all the platforms, and we'll pump you up a little bit on some social media. Yeah.
That's one thing I love about Steve. Like I said, his platform's probably 20 times bigger than mine, but brothers come together to help each other out.
No, I'm truly appreciative, guys, and I'm sure all my guys would be in Levi. Again, because that's awesome, Steve, for you too, because these guys do put in, and there's no guarantee that they're going to make $1 million, win a world title or whatnot, and they put all this work in. And I tell you what, that's discipline. To get a young 20-year-old man who could be out at the nightclubs or getting in trouble or doing this and doing that, they got their mindset on something, and they help the other kids in the gym. They take some of the younger kids that are in here under their wing a little bit, and some of the kids that don't learn as quick, so it's just a lot. The boxing gyms are probably the best places that people should. I think if there was 300 boxing gyms in every city, crime would be way down. The world would be a better place. And I honestly say that. You may have a lot of walking zombies, but it would be a better place. That's horrible.
I love that. Kelly, I'm going to toss the mic to you if you want to add anything to the show or give any of your sponsors a shout out, brother. The floor is yours.
No, first of all, I just want to thank you guys, Don and Steve, and thanks for coming on and giving me a chance to talk about the things throughout my career, and then also, what I got going on now, and being able to let people know what I'm doing, and then the platform. I think it was truly cool tonight. Some of them slap boxing guys coming on and acknowledging me, because I watched that. I watched them fight. I see it on YouTube, and that's pretty cool. And just everything, man. Thanks for having me on. Thanks for getting my fighter and letting him get his face on there and get his name out there and talk about his fight. And I'm just appreciative, man. These interviews, been doing them now myself, going on probably close to 30 years, and it never gets old. And as I get older, it's sometimes more enjoyable to have these conversations and reminisce.
Yeah, most definitely. I feel just like you do, bro. I mean, I've been doing, about 25 years I've been doing my own show, and it's shows like this where we just really just shoot the shit and just have a good time and share your fighters. Because everybody already knows what you did. We just touch on it a little bit, but I think people really appreciate hearing from you, instead of some commentator or watching some, video on YouTube. It's better to hear your voice instead of our voice. And, that way there's no in between. But Kelly,
and hear my voice, you got to have your voice too, your guys's too. So it's, it goes both ways. And I just, again, I always appreciate and the words and everything. And, anytime you want to do the show, let me know. And if I got a couple minutes free, I would do it in a heartbeat. It's just right now finding that damn time is tough too, though. So
yeah, I know. I got you, brother. This is my second show today because I screwed up yesterday. So it's like, I feel you. But Kelly, keep doing you. I'm gonna get with you. We're gonna get Levi and your cast of guys on the show, and we're gonna make it happen for you, brother. Because I love working with the young and up and comers. That's what really How did they say when you're a kid? That's what really makes my dick hard.
Yeah.
It really is, bro. Because I mean, why would I want to share somebody's story that's already been shared 1,000 times when I could share a young man's
See,
story?
and he was very, he was, baffled by me saying Diddy oil. He's over.
He's over there lubed up. Kelly, thank you so much, champ. It's
Kelly.
been an honor and a
Yeah.
privilege.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it.
Meeting you.
God bless you, bro.
All right,
Yeah,
my
we
man.
do.
Talk with you guys.
All right, Kelly. Thank you.
All right, later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So what'd you think, bro?
That's a wrap. What a nice guy. Wow. Can talk to him for another hour at least.
Right? Hey, Ryan Phillips, hit me up. We're going to do a slap show.
You didn't see Tommy Turner's comment.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, yes, you saw it? That he fought one of Kelly's friends.
Yeah, I'm the one that's read the comment. Come on, Viejo. Come on, bro. You got to admit, though. You got to admit, you shit your pants when you went and looked and seen what that man did in 12 years.
Yeah, a lot, right?
Oh, man. I can't believe I made a mistake. That's probably like the third mistake I've made this month. But I don't know, man. I'm not right here. And I'm going to take a minute to explain this to everybody. Okay. I don't always tell everybody everything, but I had C5, C6, C7, and T1 fused. The fusions didn't take, they didn't take. But I'm in a lot of pain. And so we had multiple different aspects. You'll look at it, and we found out that the surgeon put the cages in there, but he didn't do anything else. He didn't clean out all the nerve impingements. There was just so much bone debris, spurs, nodules. All my nerves are compressed. So now they want to operate on me again, December 28th. And I don't know, man. I don't think I'm going to have it done. I know Mike's a little upset with me because they wanted to do it the day before Thanksgiving, but you know what?
Things have been better, Don.
Not really.
No?
They're not as black.
Yeah.
I mean, they
They're
still
not
are.
bad either.
Yeah, they're purple, but you just can't see it because the way the lighting is.
Mm.
But this morning when I picked Bill Clancy up, Hall of Fame referee Bill Clancy, when I picked him up from deer hunting and got him to the airport, I mean, my fingertips were just dark, dark, dark purple. And I think because I'm moving my arms right now on the show because I get excited, but I got to keep my elbows in. But boy, yesterday was hell, bro. I mean, I don't know what happened. I came home from taking my wife to work, and I hurt so damn bad. It was about 10:15, 10:30. I went to bed. I didn't hear nobody call, no nothing. I missed 56 freaking phone calls, bro. I slept all the way until almost 5 o'clock. My wife's chewing me out. She's coming home from work early. My son's chewing me out. I mean, I got up and my head was this freaking big from a migraine, and I just couldn't do a show with Kelly yesterday. And I feel like crap today, but you always come through like a trooper, bro. You always come through and help me.
So I'm leaving for New York tomorrow, Don. Thanks for having me on the show. I got to pack. I'm going to a friend's wedding of mine in New York. 50 years old, first marriage. So, I'm going there to party and celebrate him and his wife to be. And, it's going to be cold. I'm going tomorrow night to Spumoni Gardens, which if you never heard of it, it is the spot in Brooklyn to go to.
Well, I don't really. I'll be honest with you. I don't really care for New York. I mean, the last time I was there, I was in Jamaican Queens, and that's not a really nice neighborhood, And when you only got one leg, it's a little hard when you want to go out to eat in New York because most people don't understand.
Yeah.
If you find a restaurant that you like, you might have to walk 2 miles to get there. And then you got to walk through boroughs that you might not want to go through, and it's just different for me. I'm a Southern boy. I'm sitting in here, and all I see is deer and cows and horses, and I don't really got to deal with too much bull crap. And I like the slower life. But enjoy yourself in New York, brother. Have a great time, and send me a cheesecake, man. I've been dying for some cheesecake, but you go do you. And brother, thank you so much for always covering me on the show. You're so righteous, bro. I don't know what I'd do without a homie in you.
Good to see you, Don.
Good to see you, brother. God bless you, and enjoy New York.
Thank you.
All right, brother. Bye-bye.